Hello everyone and welcome back to another day of Road to TCG Worlds 2018. It's already Thursday, Daytona Regionals is upon us, and I wanted to take a look today at one of the decks that got, at the deck that got second place at the Bilbao special event. Now this event was a lot smaller than a North American regional, however there were still some very high quality players from Europe, and this Garbodor Seismitoad deck got second place to Turtonator. So the combination of Seismitoad and Garbodor has been touted for quite a while. Either you stop items completely by using Seismitoad and then opponents are forced to play Professor Sycamore and things like that, and they end up in the discard anyways. You also get ability lock and item lock as well. And then Garbodor can easily clean up the game. Now, the inclusion of Turtonator is pretty interesting. It probably helps against Night March. Most likely helps and is the way you try to beat Goliath attacks. However, I'm not entirely sure 2 would be enough. But hey, who are we to question these top tier players? So yeah, Seismitoad-EX. Long time beloved card or hated card, depends on your point of view. And Quaking Punch deals 30 damage, and your opponent cannot play item cards during their turn. So it's an item lock that only applies to your opponent. It can be removed by Pokemon Ranger, unlike Wildplum's ability. And Grenade Hammer will never be used because we do not have any water energy in our deck. Grass weakness means Goliath is a very big threat, but with Turtonator becoming a thing, a very real thing in our format, I don't think Goliath will have much of a chance to do stuff. So then we have a 4-1-1-2 line of Garbodor. Now he chose to use one of these old Garbotoxin Garbodors and one of the new Garbotoxin Garbodors. Both are essentially there for their ability lock. The attacks, offensive bomb and sludge does. I mean, if you're attacking with those attacks, you're probably in a really bad spot. Both have 3 retreat cost, so it's pretty much irrelevant. And then we're using the Breakpoint Trubbish with Acid Spray since we are using Psychic Energy. Now, 2 Turtonator-GXs as tech cards, so funny coincidence that at the Center Regional both players were using Lily, and the winner used Turtonator-GX, and then in the finals of the special event, Turtonator-GX also featured, so really good card. Then we have 1 Dedenne, which helps against lightning weak Pokemon and Pokemon that like to stack up energy on their Pokemon. Especially Yveltal. And then we have a single Oricorio, which in Fabian's list it was a Karen. However, we are using Oricorio because we do not have Karen in this particular account. And then finally 1 Tapu Lele and 1 Shaymin-EX for support. Now, in terms of supporter cards, we have 3 Sycamore and 3 N. Very high count when compared to other expanded decks, especially in terms of the N count. Then we have 2 Acerola, which are really useful to make sure that Seismitoad gets to survive, especially when paired with the Fighting Fury belt. And then we have 1 Guzma, 1 Colress, 1 Xerosic, and 1 Ghetsis. Ghetsis goes really well with the fact that you deny items, they're stuck in your opponent's hand, and then you play the Ghetsis, you draw a ton of cards, and you also shuffle them back into the deck where your opponent might top deck them once again and become even more useless. Then we have 4 Ultra and 4 VS Seeker, of course, along with 4 Hypnotoxic Laser to add to this deck's annoyance factor. And then we have 3 Virbank City Gym to go with the Hypnotoxic Lasers. And finally we have 3 Fighting Fury Belts, 3 Float Stone, a single Rescue Stretcher, and a single Computer Search as the ace spec of choice. So yeah, that's the list. Now let's take it for a spin on the ladder. This is a much slower deck than Turbo Turtles, so we will probably take a longer time to get just the 1 game in, unless opponents concede due to the hard lock that we'll set on them. So yeah, see how we do. hopefully good. Now this deck has a lot of versatility in terms of attackers, in terms of supporters, in terms of who to attach. So it's definitely not a straightforward deck to play with, and so we might make a few mistakes here and there, so bear with me. Just like we did in the English video yesterday with Turbo Turtles, where I had the win in my hand and I discarded it, and then I played Shaymin and then I got it again. But things like that, if you're not super into expanded, you can miss, and definitely happening to me just because I just played standard. I practice a lot for the standard regional, and things like that do happen. So we don't know what we're up against, but I did see grass in the previous screen, so I'm actually gonna bench like this, or lead like this rather, and we'll see what we're up against. And yeah, we are up against Golisopod, so Turtonator probably going to be very, very important here. We're gonna have to keep shell trapping and shell trapping and shell trapping. We do see a Sudowoodo right off the bat along with a Coco, and it's the auxiliary version, so this is probably the deck that we will be featuring tomorrow on the channel, hopefully via live stream, but I'm not too sure. And okay, so we do get the TCG to start pressuring. We are able to bench on our Trubbish. I'm gonna keep the rest of the cards in my hand as they are, and I'm just gonna shell trap for now. So 20 damage to the Coco, which is not too impactful. And then Golisopod might come up, use its GX attack, plus a Choice Band, plus Hypnotoxic Laser. That would be a knockout. We see the auxiliary already set up, we see the Float Stone, we see the Grass Energy, and we see an end. So Choice Band, Hypnotoxic Laser, and Golisopod, 3 cards that my opponent needs this turn in order to get a one-hit KO. If we manage to attach the Fighting Fury Belt, we will actually be able to avoid that, and we were very fortunate to lead with Turtonator for sure. If we had led Seismitoad, we would be in a lot of trouble. Oh boy. My opponent grabs the non-GX Golisopod here. So is that a real threat? Yes. It's dealing 150 damage. Plus a Choice Band, that's 180. So still 30 damage short. My opponent will play or will use Abyssal Hand, but for now Turtonator should be safe. We will get hit for 150, he will receive 80 damage back, and therefore we don't have the knockout with just a shell trap. We will have to attach the Fighting Fury Belt, but that works out. Now only one item card so far from my opponent in the discard pile. Gonna bench or evolve into Trash Challenge Garbodor, and then attach the Float Stone to this Trubbish. I really wish I had a way to immediately search for the other Turtonator, but seems like we'll have to settle for an N. There's the other potential Turtonator, however, we also don't have any draw here, which is really bad. So we're just gonna shell trap, we're gonna get one prize card. Oh, this guy, wait, what? What? Oh, it takes 30 damage less. Whoopsies. I completely forgot about that. I should have played a Hypnotoxic Laser. I forgot the ability. I genuinely forgot what the ability did. Looks like my opponent will play an Acerola, so actually it's better for us that we did not play the Hypnotoxic Laser. But that was a really bad mistake. The correct play was playing the Toxic Laser. It ends up working out for us. However, maybe I should have played Acerola myself the previous turn. Now that I see my opponent playing it. He's gonna take a knockout with Golisopod. He will take the 8 damage counters back. However, we have no way to punish that here. Not even with a TCG on Lele. That's only 60 damage. There's a TCG, however, My opponent has such a big hand that it's very unlikely that he will whiff whatever it is he doesn't have. So via Seeker, Guzma. Okay. Still probably gonna go for it, try to exhaust his resources, but things are not looking like. Oh, there's not even a second Turtonator available. So guess I'll grab the Lele, and now I will go for the end play. Now the question is, who do I power up? Do I hold the energy? Do I play a Ghetsis perhaps? If I had a Seismitoad, I would be tempted to play a Ghetsis. But I'm gonna go for the end here. I guess I'll attach the TC and I'm gonna go for the Lele Assault. We do not flip heads, so Glycopod will remain awake, but perhaps off of the end my opponent will have a hard time recovering from that. It is only 4 cards. We do get another Trash Avalanche and an Acerola, so Tapu Lele can potentially survive. We get an extra 10 damage, which could come into play. Oh, an extra 30, never mind. Math doesn't work out in our favor, so even if my opponent doesn't manage to retreat the Goliathopod, it will still stay alive, and my opponent just immediately super scoop up Cyclones away. And having only played 2 item cards, our deck is really not threatening my opponent at all. So yeah, Goliathopod are a really big threat for this deck, and then Turbo Turtles are a really big threat for the Goliathopod deck, so there's that, right? Okay, so there's a choice band. Does my opponent have the Hypnotoxic Laser here? No, it just goes for the first impression. Still, only 2 item cards, really difficult to deal with. We can try to remove an energy, we can play the Ghetsis, which actually doesn't net us anything here. However, if we manage to flip heads here, we could maybe do something. So, well, we could delay. We've already flipped 1 tails, there's the heads flip. But yeah, things are really not looking good. My opponent had 2 Sycamore, DCE, and Goliathopod in his hand. That Goliathopod should really not be able to knock out my Trubbish here. Oh, but he top decks a Via Seeker. Top decks a Via Seeker. That's 3 item cards in the discard pile. But he doesn't have a Grass Energy. We know that. So he's gonna spread damage. He's still gonna take a knockout on the Lele. Very, very clutch top deck for my opponent. And I guess he did have a Abyssal Hand, so odds of him finding something were pretty good. And there's the Flying Flip, which will take down my Tapu Lele. Only 3 item cards for my opponent. Energy removal could maybe be my strategy here if I somehow was able to find the Garbotoxin Garbodor to shut off that auxiliary. That would be pretty great, but nope, we're just not gonna find it just yet. Finding Future Belt is not useful on Garbodor. I'm still gonna do it just to try to draw more cards off of Shaymin and try to deny abilities this turn. And we are able to deny abilities. So not bad. Might be able to pull off some sort of comeback here, and actually we have the knockout thanks to the Hypnotoxic Laser. So do I save that? Or do I mean 20 damage isn't much. I really need to take price card though. So I flip tails, and 70 plus 30, that's 100. That is more than enough. And we're gonna flip 1 head. So we've gone 50-50 so far on flips. 2 cards for my opponent. His deck is still pretty big. So yeah. What? Wow. Immediately has the energy and the grass and the Lele for Guzma. Of an N22. That's just ridiculous, guys. That is actually just ridiculous. Oh well, that was a really rough matchup no matter what. The small window, the small chance we had to make a comeback in that game was completely nullified by the 5% chance of my opponent getting all of those cards. What are you gonna do? Now, the other Turtonator being priced was also pretty bad for us. And now we lead off with a Trubbish. Not sure what we're up against, because we'll find out. Okay. Oh, it's a Mega Carnivore deck. Okay. So I feel like my hand should almost guarantee me perhaps not a knockout, but if I can keep this Ralts asleep, that would be amazing. Okay, so I don't put it to sleep. 30 damage might or might not come into play. Discarding the 2 Psychic seems not ideal. However, if I intend to really just shut down abilities, might as well. And I'm gonna grab a Shaymin, and then off of the Shaymin we'll see what we get, and then I can computer search for either the DC or the Float Stone or the Seismitoad, whichever I'm missing off of these 4 cards. All of them. The Den will not be useful here. I guess I do it this way. So playing the computer search as a playing the computer search as an Ultra Ball, which is never good. I'm going to end here. And off of the end, we do find the DC, which is great. We find more Trubbishes, which are also okay here. Attaching the energy to a total already is really good. And I think we pass here. I don't think we need a 3rd Trubbish on the bench. I really don't. There's another Ralts. And my opponent just ends, so no energy for him. If he doesn't find an energy to retreat, he will be in a lot of trouble. He finds a Float Stone, so that's good enough. We also found a Float Stone, however, we did not find anything too useful. No way to draw and no way to deny abilities. However, we are able to top deck a via Seeker, which is cool. Okay, because I'll bench the Trubbish now, I'll attach the Float Stone. The DC, I generally do not know who to attach the DC to. I think not attaching to anyone is actually correct. However, do I really want to give my opponent extra cards here? Okay. I really don't know. Do I attach to Turtonator? Do I attach to Shaymin? Do I attach to Garb? Do I not attach? I think not attaching is correct. Saving the DCs for the other Seismitoads potentially seems good here. Okay, I guess we go ahead and attach a Psychic to the Trash Lunch Garbodor to make it threatening, and no Ultra Ball and no Garbotoxin Garb was definitely not part of the plan. No rare candies for my opponent, so he's gonna have to go through Kirlia. We do have a Guzma, however we do not have a Fighting Fury Belt or another Hypnotoxic Laser to get some crucial KOs. Now my opponent here, I'm not going to give him a better hand this time around. I'm gonna Colress for the same 6 that N would have given me, and we do find a Hypnotoxic Laser along with the Garbodor Garbodor. So we might put our opponent on a real lockdown here, and I will use the Hypnotoxic Laser, which perhaps is not ideal, but I'd really rather just take the knockout here, and then next turn I can Sycamore and perhaps find another Hypnotoxic Laser. There's the in between turns damage, so the heal 10 attack actually becomes relevant. I know many people favor the other vaults, but I favor this one. Okay. Once again, my opponent will try to heal himself. We have two chances that a Hypnotoxic Laser to get a knockout on a potential Kirlia. There's a Kirlia now. Training Kiss. And okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and Sycamore. I do find the Fighting Fury Belt, which is great. I also find another Seismitoad, a TCE, and take a knockout here. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so we get another prize card. Get another prize card. We're up against one Kirlia, probably about to become a Garbodor GX. However, does he have enough energy to get a knockout? I believe it's impossible for him to get a knockout. Maximum damage is 180, and we have 220, 200 left. Wow, my opponent actually decides to retreat and will pressure with Tapu Lele. Now we do have an Acerola, we also have the Hypnotoxic Laser. My Seismitoad can withstand another attack, so in order to get maximum usage of the Acerola, I'm not gonna play it just now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 item cards. So Garbotoxin, Trash Challenge Garb is actually dealing some very relevant damage, along with a Hypnotoxic Laser, my Fighting Fury Belt. That Garbodor, that Tapu Lele is asleep. It has 3 damage counters on it from poison in between turns. Next turn, unless my opponent has an Acerola, he has no abilities. He just passes the turn, draw a pass from my opponent, and that means a knocked out Lele, still no sign of Garbodor. And I like the position we're currently in. I generally really like the position we're currently in. This DC seems to be left over now. I think there's nothing for us to do here other than Quaking Punch, which will net us a knockout here. Pretty good. Now we're down to 2 prize cards. If my opponent finds a Garbodor, the prize cards might actually be difficult to get. He promotes Ball Picks. There's a Garbodor. Now probably going to search for a Kirlia and something else. However, do we want to unlock the item lock? That's the question here. Not the ability lock, but the item lock. My opponent has only played 1 N. If we Acerola here, I think it's the correct play. There's absolutely no way that my opponent can knock out my Seismitoad. I'm gonna save the last Hypnotoxic Laser for the Garbodor. I'm actually going to play down my Float Stones. Well, just the one, because I have the other one, and I'm gonna let him keep using Beacon for now. Next turn I can end to deny him that. There's the Octillery. There's a Kirlia. and there's the other beacon. So perhaps using N is not the best idea actually. Getting the last prize card is going to be really difficult, guys. Really difficult. So might as well. I do have Guzma. No, I don't have Guzma yet. Oops. Okay. With the Trench threat, I actually pressure my opponent into potentially using Twilight GX in one turn. So I guess I can attach to the Shaymin as well, just to thin out my deck. Now I'm worried about thinning out my deck. This is so difficult though. I'm gonna get to see what my opponent has in his hand. Oh wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 item cards. Wow, he doesn't even have a fairy energy to attack me with, and I draw this Xerosic, which can be very useful in denying that DCE. So even harder for my opponent to try and do something. And we also found the Guzma, so the Guzma pretty much locks the game unless my opponent top decks an N. If he doesn't top deck an N, we have the game sealed up. There's a second Garbodor GX, there's a Rimraid, those cards we knew he had. What did my opponent top deck? A Tapu Lele, which cannot use its ability. There's a victory. We had the victory in hand with the Guzma, so yeah, pretty straight lockdown for us. That was very intense. That was definitely very intense, and the deck's ability lock plus item lock plus extra damage from poison and Hypnotoxic Laser, really good combination, really lethal combination, and yeah, we managed to win this match in order to compensate for the loss onto Seismitoad. So this will be it from me today, guys. Don't forget to like on the video if you can, and I will see you guys tomorrow for some more expanded action before Daytona Regionals. Thank you guys so much, and bye bye.